But who better than me?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the casual stream with your boy, Base the Kid. As always, please like and subscribe. Share with a friend, a colleague, relative, associate, enemy, any and all in between. It's appreciated. And apologies that this didn't happen yesterday. I survived the entire day on like an hour's sleep after the previous day only having about 2 or 3 hours sleep. So I was shattered and I was trying to get the energy up. I even had a couple energy drinks. I said, you know what, let me take these, but I said no, I didn't feel like the energy would be right to do this. And so yeah, I didn't really want to come in here and sort of come half cocked, as they say. But with that being said, we're here now. Appreciate anyone who is here who's not watching the Arsenal game, or if you're watching the Arsenal game and here as well, appreciate you. I'm gonna do something a little bit different today though. Like, yes, there is things to talk about, but we're gonna go off script. So today, for as long as this stream lasts, we're talking about everything. So whether that's UFC, whether that's boxing, whether that's football, whether that's films, whether that's TV, politics to a certain degree. I mean, I don't really watch or keep in touch with too much of the politics and procedures or anything else. Like, whatever you guys want to talk about, we're going to talk about it. I feel like I was going to do a casual stream. I was actually going to do that today anyway. And I was going to do the regular one yesterday. So I thought, okay, let me do like the extra casual one tomorrow. Then I remember that I think Ade is doing his live stream at 8 o'clock, and obviously we ain't getting no traction from that. So yeah, kind of incorporating everything into one. We're gonna go as long as we go. Might be an hour, might be an hour and a half, might be 2 hours. Like, you know, until it gets boring. And until you guys get bored of me, we're gonna go and do what we do. So yeah, just thank you everyone who's obviously here, who's tuned in, who's locked in. Let me just send the link out. I mean, not the link. Let me send the just send the stream out on X so that people know that I am live in case they want to jump over. 1 second, your channel, and I'm gonna get to the chat shortly. All right, to the point where I'm not even putting up a thumbnail for this. It's just whatever we talk about is whatever we talk about. Hashtag lock in now. All right, we're good to go. All right, let's see who's in the chat. All right, man, like Muller number one in the building. Shout out to you. Aaron Daly in the building as well. How late do we think Base going to be on game with 10 minutes? I don't know when you wrote that, but I said 8 o'clock. I was live 8 o'clock on the dot. So yeah, hopefully not too late, or I'm messaging. Nope. You know, always had faith he'd be on time. Yeah, bet you did. No, but shout out for real. And we'll just be talking about things throughout the night. So if anyone's got anything in particular, I'll probably start off with a little bit of the action that we had over the weekend. I mean, what was we thinking of Magnificent Seven? Like, I had my little bit of fun on Lawrence Okoli, and obviously the condition he came in, but I was very impressed with the movement still, and definitely it looks like he still carried up that cruiserweight speed. We just got to find out, can the conditioning mask with it. And I did hear, I can't remember where it was or I heard it. I think it was an interview it was an interview he done on TalkSport where he said that He's going to look to trim up for the next fight, and he'll sort of be more around the 240 mark, as he feels that's the perfect weight for him, which is cool. And if anything, I feel like we have to be eternally grateful to both Lawrence Okolie and David, English pronunciation, Adeleye, because those two, and to a lesser extent Alois Jr. as well, all of their fights ended within 4 rounds. So, you know, we was able to get out on a nice decent time. You know, like we wasn't there after midnight watching the main event and everything like that. The one thing that I thought was a bit of a wasted opportunity though, and look, I understand sometimes you have a float if you have bare fights that sort of run early, but there was no real need to have the floater fight. I felt like you just move everything forward 25 minutes, half an hour. The people could have got out of the arena at an even more reasonable time, because I think the main event didn't finish until like 11:40, something like that. It feels like it was about 11:40. So, you know, they could have been finished by, you know, 11:15. That would have been a much nicer flow. But, you know, with that being said, it was a very enjoyable main event. Shout out to man like North Bank Bren, salute to you, thank you very much for being here. Yeah, I won some little bits of money on that card. Okay, what fights did you bet on and what predictions did you give? Let me know. A decent card, both heavyweight fights finished impressively. Yeah, I mean that pull counter shot by Lawrence Okolie was a thing of beauty, I can't lie. The speed was quite frightening on that one. Yeah, he wasn't fighting anyone of any great shakes, but still, it was appreciated. Aaron, Sol Dacus let Brum badly. I thought he'd outbox Adeleye in the boring fight. Admittedly, I thought that he had enough talent to do that, but again, my stock of his only rose because, you know, October Red kept telling me now, like, he's the goods, or he can be the goods, etc., among some other things that she would say to me about him. But yeah, I feel like I should have just stuck with my original assessment. So I feel like I'm going to do that from now on. Like, whatever I feel, I'm just going to keep it like that, unless I see significant difference of evidence to make me change my mind. But he's not it. And this whole Dacus versus Clark thing that they're talking about, this, I don't know, it just feels like an afterthought match. Like, what are we doing it for? It's like, what is it? Is it the battle of the comeback? Is it the battle of the losers? Is it like the battle of the no hopers? Is it the battle of the English level? Like, what's the fight for, outside of just being a scrap? And if it's just to be a scrap, cool. But I will just feel like some significance needs to be had in both guys' careers to bother to stay in the sport. Man like Star Fox WR45E, shout out to you. It was around 10 something, I think it finished. No, that card finished after 11, and I know that for a fact because the Puerto Rico card was on started, and I think it was just going towards the end of the before the bell section. Dacus needs to consider stopping or going away because his career has not been anything special and constantly stinks to play it out. Yeah, and that's one thing that I was saying on Fight Talk Live. It's not that he took a bad loss why I was saying he should quit. It was just like, you're not entertaining inside the ring or outside the ring. I mean, you can't punch, or maybe you can, but you can't, if you know what I mean. Yeah, you're just not entertaining. Don't really sell yourself. Don't have a fan base. No, you know, left Matchroom, getting dropped by Queensbury, more than likely, based on things that I've heard previously. Like, where do you go? So you're just going to be an away guy for anyone else, and assuming that you had more desire than that. If the desire was to maybe just be British champion, all right, cool. maybe you can stay because you might be able to build yourself to that down the line. But most of these men say that they want to be world champ, or you know, they want to take it as high as they can. I mean, he's not going to get to European level. British is going to be a stretch compared based on who's still around or who's going to be around, you know, coming up. Do you want to just stick around the English level? Do you just want to be a journeyman, or do you want to be just seen as a gatekeeper rather than having your own career? I don't know. Remember, he was like the alternate for the GB squad. So how much do you really want to be the bridesmaid or the groomsman? Like, when do you want, don't you want to be the main star? And I don't think you're going to get that here. So maybe go around the gyms and be a sparring partner. That might be a good role for him. Apparently that's what he used to do anyway, just be around the gyms and be a sparring. You can make some good money doing that. Or be a coach or a coach's assistant or something. That might be the route, because I reckon he'd actually probably be a good trainer, truth be told. October Reds picks looking like OTC. Is he still around? I looked on his channel the other day. I didn't see anything new. It was about a few months back I checked it to see where he was at. But yeah, I think he took a bit too much of too many blows to the head, like medical retirement. Boy, ain't been seen since. But shout out to OTC, because he's doing what Tony Bellew lied to us and said he was going to do. He said we'd never see him again. OTC took that oath personally. Hitchens, Adelaide, Bentley accumulated with the footy. Okay, nice. It was after 11 because it was just before the Knicks game. Boom, I knew so. Oh man, like Johnny Gaffer in the building. Shout out, head to head with G-Man. Oh, is G-Man live today as well? Okay. Shout out to G-Man. My new London compatriot. Big up to him. Ended just before 11:30. Okay. So they must have ring walked then about 11:15. It felt like it was a bit later than that, but all right. But thank you for the correction. The Acres can just dust it up with Webb and them, man. Yeah, but again, the thing is, all right, you're gonna have a fight with Nick Webb for what? You know what I mean? It's like, unless you're literally, Nick Webb would only really fight the up and coming guys who's gonna pay him the money, and if he gets a win, then it maybe helps to boost him. Outside of that, what do you really like? Some of these fights, they're like, yeah, they're good fights in terms of they might be competitive 50-50, but what are they for? If it's just a scrap and that's just all you're on, cool. But certain man, I just feel like they have more ambition than that. He's still got amateur style, no development. Yeah, and it's more than even just that. It's like just the again, even some of the way that he would take shots, or he would turn his back and stuff. It just doesn't look like you enjoy getting hit, which I get it, you don't, but you're in the wrong sport if you can't punch and you can't take a punch. So I've seen him on KG's channel. OTCs. Okay, cool. Dacus is done. Shout out to man like Skyliner. Promoters will use the Acres to test their young fighters. Yeah, and again, if he's happy with that, carry on. Do your thing. But my whole thought of hanging it up is just that I don't know if I don't think you're making it past that level, and I always thought your aspirations were to do so. So similar thing with Fraser Clark. I can't see Fraser doing anything outside of what's happened, and it's not just because he got knocked out by by Fabio Wardley, but it's like the aspirations are to be more than British champ. You've had 2 cracks at the British title and failed twice, even though I do think you did win the first fight, in all fairness. Slightly older guy, the damage that you take, the rebuild that potentially has to happen, because they wouldn't be wise to throw you in there with any competitive opposition in your first 2 to 3 fights coming back. So yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of an awkward time. The thing is, David Adley hasn't even looked good in a lot of his fights. That as well. So it's like you've essentially got cleaned out by someone that a lot of people weren't actually rating in the first place. Now that could change. Maybe the Adam Booth thing works and he starts to look a lot better than he has done in previous fights. Who knows? But boy. But yeah, look, that's kind of my thoughts on what took place on Saturday. I'm trying to, was there another card? Oh yeah, it was Paro and Hitchens and Navarrete and what was it, Valdez, Espinoza and Rabisi Ramirez. Do you know what? I still haven't seen the I need to see the Richard Torres fight, because I think I saw the knockout and I was shocked. I did not think that Munoz would get knocked out. But again, I guess I just got to put that to the fact that Jermaine Franklin really doesn't hit that hard. Because Munoz took his shots and ate them, every single one of them. He ate them like cheeseburgers, tacos, burritos, and every other food that I know he loves. But I saw a clip. It was on Ring IQ's. It was in one of his intros. I think it was Richard Torres and Munoz. Like that knockout looked vicious. I need to see that fight. So check some more of these. Frazier has Angel Fernandez as a coach. That move isn't going to do anything for him. I hear that. Doesn't Dacus have more amateur experience than Adelaide? Yeah, I mean, look, he was a GB alternate, so he was on that GB squad for like, I think 6 years. Might have been more than that, because he might have been. No, he was in the Joe Joyce cycle and didn't get picked when him and Frazier Clark was there. Frazier got made the alternate, then he was in the Frazier cycle, and then Frazier got picked ahead of him. So yeah, I think he's been on that amateur for about 6 years. Adelaide still has a chance. Most importantly, he has backing of Uncle Frank, who can navigate him better. Yeah. And one thing about David Adelaide, if for nothing else, the guy is charismatic. He can sell. Like, he's a good talker. Like, he's got a bit of a mean disposition about him. Like, he does seem to have a bit of a squadron that will come with him, and he knows how to draw eyes to himself in a room. Even though sometimes, like I said, I still see him looking a little bit shifty in and around the place when I've seen him out. But when he's comfortable, he's enigmatic. He's a big, bold character. Like, so someone like him will kind of always be able to get work, because you'll believe that he can do something. But yeah, Valdez looked bad. His chin in defense was Amir Khan. Like, yeah, I mean, Valdez maybe has had one too many wars. He's had 2 Olympic cycles, so he was in the amateurs for a very long time, had a long career. He's fighting outside of his natural weight class as well. I mean, it's not looking great. But he's done a lot in his career, so maybe it's time to sort of bow out gracefully right about now. Could Dacus and Big Frazier duke it out on some last chance one? Well, I was saying that before. Yes, maybe they could, but like, what's the interest? You can only really do that fight in Birmingham, to be honest. Like, you can't put that on a card anywhere else in the country. But even there, in like Brum or Wolverhampton, like, what's the fan base like? What is it going to be for? Is it going to be for like a literal like loser leaves town situation? That would probably be the only way you could build it up. Like last man standing, or the I quit bout. Put it to wrestling, it's like the person who loses this fight quits the sport. But in all truth, I wish them all well. I guess we just have to wait and see. Oh man, like Ryan Hutchison, shout out to you, big up. Oscar Valdez was in the same Olympic tournament as Luke Campbell, and Campbell retired like 3 years ago. Yeah, exactly. So shout out to Karma, a mid off, perfect. But is it a mid or is it a bottom? Like, Is it a low off? It's crazy, but what would be the benefit? What would we get out of it ultimately? Did you watch Conor Wallace today? Yes, I did. I didn't watch it live, but I was watching it at work. I didn't see the whole thing, but I saw the fight. Can't lie, the fight was a lot more competitive than I was expecting it to be. But Conor loves a scrap. That's what I will say right now. Conor loves a scrap. Got the stoppage, but can't really be having too many fights like that, especially at that level. So yeah, still a couple things he's got to tighten up on. But it was a fun fight for the crowd, at least. You think Blair the Flair could deal with Barrios? Yeah, I actually do. I like Blair the Flair Cobbs. I've been calling for him versus for Conor Benn, for the last 3 years. I've literally been calling for that fight because I know the build-up would be crazy, and I think both of them are basically like of a similar level, if I'm honest. I quit match. Frazier better get Mankind mask on. Well, he might need some kind of protective mask because we don't know how this is healing. We don't know how long that's going to take to heal properly, or if it will ever be strong enough again, seeing as they just kind of popped it. They didn't have to put any plates on there. Did Rabasi quit? Yeah, 100%. He turned his back, said no, must put his hand up in the air, said He said he had double vision, couldn't see. It was, it was blurred double vision, and he couldn't risk further damage. So, and I don't blame him for that. Is what it is. %, no mask. Exactly right, North Bank. Is there any Arsenal fans in the building? Just out of curiosity, because obviously I know they're playing Monaco right now. I kind of got it on in the background, but I don't know if I should have this match on, if I should have the Barcelona and Dortmund match on. But I think that one might be a bit more entertaining. But Monaco on the front foot at the minute. I know they're trying to fight on the counter attack. I've got City Juve on instead. I mean, to be fair, the Arsenal match looks alright still. But yeah, just on in the background. I'm working late, got you on volume, Arsenal on TV in the background. Okay. Northbank, you're an Arsenal supporter, right? Just confirm that one for me. No trick questions, no agendas, I'm just confirming. Shout out to James. Salute to you. Okay, yeah, you are an Arsenal supporter. All right. Do you agree with Eddie about the critics of his prospects always losing? No, I agree with him. But that also being said, there are some fights or some people that I do believe he's put people in the ring with too soon. Not always his fault, because yes, everyone who has lost should or has the ability to beat the people that they put them in with, but not all the time. It's like sometimes there's still something that's been missing in that initial preparation, and you're almost like skipping steps. The one thing I disagree with Eddie about, though, is when he said about, if you lose to someone that's like, you're 8-1 on to win, then you just wasn't good enough. But we all know that a lot of those odds, the odds makers don't actually know the other boxers. Most of us don't know these boxers. We don't know where they come from. So you're only 8-1 because you're well known. So that to me is a bit of a false equivalency. But yeah, like on the whole, I agree with, competitive matchups. But I also believe that if you're a prospect, and I guess a prospect, we're going to have to define the prospect by anyone that doesn't have a top 15 ranking with the sanctioning bodies. So anything other than that is a prospect. You shouldn't be in fights that theoretically you could lose. You should be in fights that will teach you something so that you can go to the next step, go to that next step, go to that next step. But you shouldn't be in 50-50 fights unless it's against other prospects. Like, but if you're, say for instance, if you're a 4-0 prospect and then they put you in the ring with a 9-17 journeyman, okay, well, that guy still got 26 professional fights and he's still got more wins than you've had fights, period. So, you know, you kind of look at all of that and you then have to, you know, is that the right move? Or even if you're like, say, a 4-0, 5-0, and they put you in with someone that's maybe 9-1 or 9-3 or something, like in that prospect phase, it's dangerous. And what I would say is, when we talk about like competitive matchups and stuff, you got to bear in mind, like, no one is gonna look at that match as anything serious with a person they've never heard of. So if you've got someone in there that's like, say, 9-3 or 9-4, and your guy is, you know, like a 3-0 or a 4-0 prospect coming up, and they have a hard night's work and they end up losing or they get beat, no one was going to check for the fight anyway because they thought the fight was supposed to be a mismatch. So they're not coming to the arenas earlier because of that fight. So you've ultimately got your guy beat, or you've given your guy this mad motivation, and people ain't even tuned in to watch it to realize how good of a fight it was. So it's a bit of a catch-22. I do agree, no easy fights, but I don't, like I said, until you're in those top 15 rankings, you shouldn't really be in the position to lose either. Unless, of course, you're like 23-0 and without being in the rankings or something. If something like that, okay, cool. Now you have to get tested because you've had 20 pro fights. But anyway, that's enough kind of rambling and ranting about that. Anyone watch Chris Eubank YouTube channel? Is very good. He does like question notes. I've seen the channel. I've not watched it, but I have seen him. I've seen the channel, and I do have interest to have a look at it in future. I will set some time aside at some point to do so. Alright, remember, these fighters are given at least 3 options to select from. Well, that's not always the case, James. Yes, there is sometimes, but sometimes they're told who to fight. But let's not forget, they're given 3 options, but what if all 3 of those options are too soon? What do? You eventually try to pick the easiest of the worst choice, or you pick the one that you feel that maybe has the style that you would be able to fare the best against, but all 3 of the options could be too good for you, or you know, too soon in your career for you to take. So it depends. It's conjecture, it's playing devil's advocate, but this is also true. Shout out to Untraceable. Nah, man, you're right on time. We're just shooting the breeze today, man. There's no particular agenda. We're just talking any and everything that anyone wants to bring up. Like, what you think of Ishmael Davis? Shout out to Jim Bob. Look, I like Ishmael Davis's heart, but if he's just gonna be known now as the, you know, as the substitute guy, I mean, again, this is one of those ones. I don't. To be fair though, with Ishmael, like, I liked his style when I see him in his very first fight and that, but I didn't expect that, oh, he's looking for world honors or anything like that. Like, maybe he is, but I never looked at him as, oh, he's going to be a world beater, or he's going to be, you know, like a British or European champion, or a fringe or IBO or something. I just thought, oh, this guy looks like he's, you know, he can handle himself. He's got a bit of skill. He'll be in some fun fights. So I don't mind him taking these last minute opportunities for huge money. And he's good enough that he'll probably cause a couple upsets somewhere in his career. But yeah, no, shout out to Ishmael Davis. Was your fight mismatched on paper? What, against Sonny Edwards? On paper, you'd probably say yes, but the reason we all know that the reason that fight happened was because them two shared so many rounds together in sparring, and on when they was in the amateurs and in the pros. Like, they clearly felt, all right, this is a decent fight for us to be able to take. And if you remember, the very last time that them two sparred each other was, I think, in 2022. No, it was last year. It was 2023. It was before the BAM fight, I believe. So he probably felt like, okay, I've got the measure of this guy. But it's a big difference between that being, going in there against someone who's got a lot more pro fights, but is, you've had a lot of experience with, as opposed to someone that you've never seen before, you've never heard of, you've maybe just watched a little bit of tape on. And the difference with Galal, also outside of that, he's never fought a 4-rounder or a 6-rounder in his life. His whole career has been 10-rounders and above. So he's already been brought in with a lot of that amateur pedigree and stuff to say, this is where you need to be, this is what you're supposed to be doing. So if he loses now, he's only ever going to lose to someone that's in the top 10 or is a world champion. Like, his apprenticeship is done, so his fights are now supposed to be hard competitive fights every time he gets out there. It's not quite the same as, like, a prospect. He's no longer a prospect, and he probably hasn't been a prospect for the last 3 fights, if we're being honest. You got entertaining, streamlined up. Enjoyed the last live you did with the guest talking movies, etc. Shout out Tom Skull 7. Look, this is a live similar. We're not talking specifically movies, but we can talk any and everything, and I'm happy for anyone to bring anything into the conversation. And I'm gonna put a link in the chat in about 15-20 minutes. Anyone who wants to click on it and have their say can do so about anything. We're keeping it super casual today. Like I said, no agenda, no specific topics. Probably gonna drop a couple videos tomorrow because I'm working from home, so I'll have a bit of extra time to sort some stuff out. Do you think Conor can beat any decent welterweight? Speedy Ellis, Alexis Rocha, even Avanesian? And would you rather see him scrap Chris? I don't think Conor can beat Speedy Ellis. He could probably get to him early, but because he's not a pressure fighter, I think Speedy would be comfortable. I think he could beat Alexis Rocha. I think he's a bit too... Well, he's not too big for Alexis Rocha, but I feel like Alexis he's been in a couple wars, he's taken a couple beatings. Avanesian, he could beat Avanesian now, but it's still, it's not an easy fight. But he could beat him now because Avanesian's almost 37, I think 36, 37, and he's had a bunch of wars as well. In terms of would you rather see him scrap Chris, I don't mind. You know what? I want to see the Chris Eubank fight, but I'm not beholden to it. I want the two of them to hurry up and do something, though. If they're going to fight each other or go their separate ways, then do that. But, either piss or get off the pot, as they say. Shout out to Napa. I'm going to message him later, because I'm always supporting the fighters on the roster. I need him to get me a Chris Eubank interview. He's the manager. I know he can make it happen. Jim Bob, as much as everyone criticizing Eddie matchmaking, but I feel the fighters management have got to be real and take accountability same way and just say we ain't ready just yet. You get me? 100%. But some fighters have more of a leeway or more of a leverage to do that than others, because with some of them, they're just desperate to get on the card. So if they start saying, oh, we can't take this, or this one's a bit too difficult, all of a sudden they ain't got opportunity again, and they don't know when the next opportunity is coming. So yeah, it's it can be difficult. It's only really the big prospects or the guys with a big backing behind them that can really get away with that in that early stage. But again, as I said, once you're a contender, all bets are off. You fight the best. But just in that come up phase, I'm not saying to have easy fights, but the whole narrative of, oh well, they're 8-1 on, I just think that's a bit false, because half of the people, the bookies, don't know, we don't know, and they're just, they could either be like, the secret weapons, or they could be a bit like James Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson. Like, everyone said that Mike Tyson's team, specifically his coaches, everything from back in the day, said keep him away from Buster Douglas, because they knew the style was all wrong for him. Sometimes, there's been a few times I've seen Eddie or the matchmakers have put some of his people in there with someone that has a stylistic nightmare for that fighter, which is fine when you get old, when you get more experience. But when you're on the come up and you're still green, at that point it's a bit tricky. But also you have to say, to some of the fighters that be talking a big game, oh yeah, I'm ready for anyone, I'll fight anyone, oh, I wanted this person, that person. If they lose, there's no sympathy for them, because they're the ones that was calling for the fights. What are you going to do next week for Usyk versus Fury 2? Well, there is a very, very, very slim chance I could be out there. So if that's the case, then I'll be there enjoying and trying to get some media and stuff sorted out. But with that not being the most likely option, there will be a watch along. Same as there's going to be a watch along this Saturday night for the for Saturday night's main event. There will potentially, there will be that one, and then the next boxing one will definitely be next week. RG man in the building, salute to you. Thank you very much for being here. I heard that you was live as well. I mean, actually, I can use my other phone to check. Castro is just not. Yeah, I've not been impressed. I've not actually been impressed with Castro from I first saw him. If I'm gonna be real, there was not. I just felt like he was getting packaged. They was doing this package deal with Canelo Alvarez, and ever since Canelo left sort of Matchroom and DAZN, Castro just been looking. It's almost like he lost his powers. It's a bit crazy, or he lost his protection, one or the other. Oh no, he's not live. Okay. Oh, I think Waffle's a great shout out. Hey babe, someone asked Ade about Chris Andre and where he is. You and him were cool. Do you have any ideas? Yeah, no, we're cool. I haven't spoken to Chris since he put up that post about, some things being more important than YouTube. But he said he was good. He said he just, he would be back at some point, but he's just got some more important things to deal with right now. But I haven't had a chance to, I did try to reach out the other day. I messaged him, but I haven't had a response. So I don't know what he's doing, but I hope everything's still okay, because he said it was. He just said, some things were more important than YouTube. Man like that guy, shout out. Wi-Fi issues, mate. It isn't great in this. Oh, okay. So you went live and then was playing up. Okay, I get you. James Clifford base, do you have any idea where Spencer Brown has come from? I saw him in the Netflix Tyson Fury briefly. Now he is a player close to Turkey and in the limelight, seems to come from nowhere fast. No, do you know what, Spencer's actually been around for a very long time, but just sort of he was doing like a few other different things, but he's been around the the boxing world for quite a bit. He had an interview the other day. I can't remember who it was with, and he actually spoke about his history and like kind of what he's been doing, where he came from and whatnot. But he was like, I think he was a manager first, or he had something to do with like a TV thing, manager, then went into promotions afterwards, and he's had that run since then. I can't remember the exact story, but he's been around for quite a while. Apparently, Chris Evans is coming back to the MCU in Avengers Doomsday. Yeah, I mean, it's not surprising because that Doomsday and the one after that, which they haven't named yet, it's all supposed to be about alternate realities and time travel. And I think probably going into like what do they call it? Secret Wars and all of that. So you have the different variants and variations of different characters. Because I heard he's coming back as the Hydra Captain America, the Hydra sleeper agent. So that'll be interesting for him. Yeah, big up. All right, let me just gonna fling. Where are we? Anyone who wants to jump on, feel free. We're gonna go until you guys get bored. Man like Anthony Hayweather in the building. Salute to you, shout out. Anthony, did you actually get on to Monday Night Smoke on? Because I fell asleep in the last 20 minutes of the show. Like I was gone, and by the time I woke up it was finished. So no watch along for Dillian White this weekend. I won't be able to. I won't even be in that. I'll be able to watch the fight, but I won't be somewhere where I can do a watch along for it. Sunday isn't a great day, and I would have already used up my allocated time for streaming when I'm on Fight Talk Live a little bit earlier on in the day. So yeah, I will see the fight, but unfortunately I won't be able to cover it. I'm still trying to get to the fights at York Hall on Friday. I had to do a last minute application to try and get onto that huge boxing accreditations list, because I shouted at Charlie Sims. I emailed him on a couple of occasions. He never got back to me. It's only when I spoke to Danny Glover. Shout out to Danny Glover, Fight Fan TV. Make sure you're tuned in and subscribed. He told me, there was on their Instagram they had they had the accreditations list, like the application form. So I went on there, saw it, and then had to so I just did it earlier today, hoping that he might get back to me, but I'm not too optimistic. KG pulled a strop at the end. Okay, I'll have to go back and watch the last part of it. Is it Sunday fight night for White? Yeah, Sunday. I think the show starts at 5, and I think his fight's going to be on about 8:30, 9 o'clock. So yeah, that one's on Sunday. Matchroom Monte Carlo Saturday, and then the huge boxing in association with Matchroom is on Friday at York Hall. I want to try and get down there to watch that one. Jimmy Sains, James Liddard, Maisie Rose, Shannon Courtney. Paddy Donovan was on the card, but I think he's been removed. I think he might be ill or something. Did you finish Penguin yet? I finished it. Yes, Penguin, finished it. I thought it was great, but Philip Answer kind of messed it up for me, or at least he didn't mess it up, but the thing he told me, like Penguin does something in the last episode is gonna make you hate him. So as soon as I saw the very first episode, I knew exactly what it was that Philip was referring to. I was just waiting for it to happen to see how it was gonna happen. So it didn't come as a shock to me after, when it did take place. But yeah, I remember as soon as he said that, I saw from that first moment, it involves him. Whatever it is, it involves him, and it's probably he's gonna end up getting getting taken off the board, so to speak. KG was just being messy. I could see Trav pissed. Oh snap! I gotta watch that then. Philip, does Marvel not have faith in the new characters? If they're just bringing back the OG6, then what's the point introducing Moon Knight, Shanghai, Miss Marvel? No, it's not that they don't have the faith in the new characters, but what they're going to try to do is they're going to use the older characters or the older actors to basically be the bridge to the new characters. And ultimately, you got to remember, it's all about a shared universe, or a multiverse, all that stuff. So they're gonna have variants of different people coming in and out. So, but it will probably be better if you can get a Ms. Marvel or a Shang-Chi or a Moon Knight in with these other guys. Although Moon Knight's probably, I don't think Moon Knight's going to get beyond Disney Plus. I don't think he's mainstream enough for like to have movies or to even be in the movies. His section of the MCU is very, you know, specific to him. So yeah, you might have more chance of getting him in like a Daredevil Disney Plus show or something like that, where they might cross over. Is it worth Penguin? Yeah, Penguin's worth it. Penguin's dope. No, Philip, yeah. KG was being belligerent with his takes at that. Oh, okay, I've really got to watch this now. And when I end the stream, I'm gonna check it out. That guy, I was just hinting at the finale. I never said anything that was he never said anything that was a spoiler, but what he said told me exactly from the start exactly what was going to happen. Because if he had just said, oh, you're not going to believe what happens at the end, that's different. But he said, oh, Penguin's going to do something that's going to make you hate him. So immediately I know he's probably going to frame someone, or he's gonna X like a beloved character. The only thing that would have been worse than what he'd done. Actually, no, to be honest, what he did, I didn't feel no way about it. There's only one thing that could have made me despise Penguin, as Philip thought I would. And I'm going to say, I won't say what it is, because I don't, in case anyone hasn't watched it, but it's to do with the big, sort of the big tower and the stained glass window. And I'm gonna leave it at that. And anyone who's watched it or anyone who will watch it will understand that's the only thing that would make me say, nah, you're a bastard, like you need to die. What we're talking about today anyway, mate. We're shooting the breeze on any topics, Anthony, anything, whether it's anything, whether it's boxing. We could talk about Mayweather, we could talk about him at Hatton Garden and all that, but we're talking anything from that, films, football, UFC, WWE, rugby, politics, whatever anyone wants to talk about. Any questions, we answer. And the links in the chat, if anyone wants to come on and give topics on anything or talk about anything. We're going to go until people no longer want to stick around. I mean, in terms of, I saw the what's it called, the statement that Mayweather put out saying, oh, it was just my security guards, doing what they're supposed to do. But boy, I mean, the fact that you're out there getting chased about, or however it looked, or getting run out of Hatton Garden, whether people touched you or not, it's still a bit crazy, because that's not supposed to be your lot in life, innit? So let's see what else was saying. Philip, to be fair, I thought he was do something horrible to someone else. That one took me by surprise. Oh, okay, so you're cool then. It got you. Your fave girl will be defending a WBC belt soon at heavyweight. Shout out. Oh man, Anthony Hayweather's in the building. Hold on. Shout out. What's good?
Yo, what's going on, Bass?
All good, man. Happy to have you here. What are you saying?
You don't hear me properly?
Yeah, okay, you're perfect.
Do you know what? Yeah, I was watching that video. You see with what's his name, Mayweather, yeah?
Yeah.
Getting chiefed up a little bit in Hattons. And it brought me back to our old school video, innit? Yeah. Do you remember when Mayweather was still obviously boxing and he came with the slow?
Oh, and you cut out. Yo, you mute yourself. Ah, he's gone. I will get him back. Shields isn't her dad's favorite girl, and she's in. Oh, shout out to G. Yeah, I'm not gonna hate on I am interested to see who she's gonna fight next though. I think it's gonna be one of them. There's 2 Canadian girls. I think it might be one of them. Alright, there you're back.
Yeah, sorry, man. I'm using my phone. Someone called me, innit, bro. I just put my phone
Okay.
on disturb now, innit? But yeah, I was. It took me back to something anyway, base. Tell me if you remember this as well. Yeah, do you remember? Obviously, Mayweather, he went from Pretty Boy, then he went to Money, and then
Yeah.
at one point towards the end, he went to TBE. Remember that?
Yep, best ever.
And then he used to go with. There was one day when obviously it caused a lot of controversy at the time, but he was saying he's better than Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, I remember that.
And do you remember when they asked Mike Tyson what he thought about that?
Yep.
And he said, he's a scared little man. Greatness ain't being guarded from the people. It's being what did he say, bro? Oh, can you screen
said-
share right now?
I can do, yeah.
Bro, go to that video. Go to Mike Tyson on Mayweather. He goes, he can't even walk his kids to school. Greatness is being accepted by the people, not being guarded by the people. You know what I'm saying?
I remember. Hold on, let me see if I gotta go find it. Let me take my camera off a sec. But yeah, you can keep talking. No, I remember that.
And that literally came to mind when I saw him, bro. Getting chiefed up in Hattons, bro. You understand though? And it's good, man. I think the chickens are coming home to roost with Mayweather anyway. Yeah, well, let's show the people this video quickly anyway.
Could you guys hear that on the could you hear that?
No, I can't see it. What?
Oh, hold on, no. I haven't put it on the screen yet. I'm trying to hold on. Oh wait, my StreamYard is playing up. Oh, music, where's the videos?
The StreamYard thing is a bit confusing, isn't it?
Do you know what it is? I think it might not let me do it just because I'm on the phone as opposed to on the laptop.
Ah,
Oh yeah, it won't let me. Oh crap. Yeah, but I've literally got it here in front of me. But yeah, I can't.
nah, it's all good. It's all good. Just,
but I remember it. Yeah.
Yeah, you remember that though, innit? But that literally came to mind. Like, the Mayweather ain't embraced by the people in the same way as like the real greats of boxing, innit? When you think about it, do you know what I mean? Like, I think Mike Tyson could walk through anywhere. Really, he could walk through Brixton, Peckham, wherever. I reckon, in fact, the Holyfield could. You know what I mean? But you know, like
Yeah.
the real charlatans of the game. Like when you look at Tyson Fury, the Mayweathers. I think these people would have problems, bro. Do you know what I mean?
I hear that. I mean, well, I think one thing is there's like some people. Oh no, don't worry, Aaron. I wouldn't get copyright for that. It's one of the shorts. Yeah, but it's weird because one thing I will give to him, yeah, is that at least his vice is that he can't leave the limelight. He needs that spotlight and that validation. Whereas at least it's not, drugs and alcohol or like excessive binging or things like that. That's the one good thing I could say. His vice is at least a bit healthier than some of the others that people do when they leave the sport and they ain't got nothing else to do with themselves. But it is a bit cringe.
You know what? That's actually a good point that you make. Yeah, because obviously, yeah, there are boxers that have gone, like a Ricky Hatton, for example. Do you know what I mean? Who've gone a way that's sort of less respectable, isn't it, in that sense? But yeah, man, it was interesting though. I don't know, that just literally came to my head as soon as I saw that video, innit? You know what I mean? Because I remember when that first come out and I was like, right, that's an interesting take from Mike Tyson, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
And
hear
some
that.
people might have thought it was excessive back then, but then looking back at it now, yeah, it was funny. What I wanted to mention as well, like, how did you what did you think about the boxing like, on the weekend?
Which in particular, or just in general?
Do you know what was interesting? Like, obviously they brought on I remember on Undefeated they brought on Okoli's brother, yeah,
Oh, Henry, yeah.
and I was like, to be honest, I kind of liked how Okoli looked. His style reminded me a little bit of how KSI fights. You know the
Okay.
sort, you know what I'm talking about, innit? That in and out
Yeah,
sort of.
yeah,
It was, didn't it?
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I liked it. He obviously he wasn't looking to hold anymore. He was a bit more aggressive. And big him up for that, yeah. But I was
Mm.
looking at David Adelaide, yeah, and I was thinking, like, what has Okoli shown me that suggests that he would beat Adelaide? Because
I
I
think
know
he's got. I
just
think
before you sorry, just before you
okay,
go on,
go on,
yeah,
go on.
I just want to say, obviously they was talking about Wardley versus Okoli. They was talking about the host of different names. Obviously, and I understand that the same rules that put Usyk in the mandatory as soon as he moved up to heavy is the same reason why Okoli is top 5 ranking, right? Like
Mm.
with the WBC, for example. But Okoli wasn't an undisputed cruiserweight like champ that cleaned up the division, especially like when the cruiserweight was hot property back then, innit? Like there was some good fighters there, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like he won his belt against a half decent guy, and then he kept it moving. To be honest, when he lost to like the first proper challenge he probably had in it when he lost to CBS in it. But Adelaide, on the other hand, like he lost to Wardley, but when I watched that fight, that was close, bro. At some points, he was looking dangerous. That left hook is mean. I think he did start to gas, and Wardley probably had a bit more gears than him. But I don't see Okoli beating Adelaide, bro.
I mean, I hear it. I can see where you get that, but obviously, what you got to remember is Okoli. In terms of if you just look at their resumes and who they fought, like Okoli has fought a lot of better people than Adlai just generally. Like um if you look at Wardley as being his best opposition, well, I don't know if I would say that Wardley is better overall, like as an overall boxer, than a CBS or than a Isaac Chamberlain or or even a older Christoph Glavatsky. So I see where you're coming from, and I definitely feel like there's. But it would. I don't know if it would be an even fight because I think Okoli would still be considered like the favorite. But I can see how both guys could win. But I also can see the advantages that Okoli would have. He would have the speed advantage, and he's got the longer reach, and he throws straight punches very well. So he could, if he realistically, he could keep Adelaide outside on the outside and trying to just throw those sweeping hooks. And at that point, you get caught, you get countered. Plus, let's not forget, Okoli, I think, is actually a bit taller as well. So he
Yeah, he's
can't
six.
stay at
What
that
is he? Six
260.
five.
6'5", yeah, he
I
can't
think he's
stay
about half an
260.
inch taller. And plus, yeah, you know what? That's interesting what you said, the straight shots, because I'm not sure how well Adelaide moves his head, to
Mm.
be honest. Yeah, yeah. But sorry, you said resume wise, Isaac Chamberlain and Wardley.
Yeah, in terms of if you look at in terms of like what they had done at the time, right? Oh, if you even think about it,
No,
Fabio
Wardley was
Wardley,
British champ though, wasn't he?
yeah, but Isaac's been British. Isaac's also been European. So
Okay.
if you look, I mean, don't get me
Not
wrong,
when he
I
fought
get
Okoli though. Not when he fought Okoli
not when
though.
no, not when he fought Okoli, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying if you look at where it's obviously how that win is ultimately aged, and you got to remember Okoli wasn't a world champion when they fought. I think it was for the British when they had their fight, British
Yeah,
beef.
yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Yeah. So if you're looking at just the levels, like I reckon the levels are of similar ilk is my point. But that being said, I do think that yeah, Okoli's just probably got the more experience, or at least at the higher level, to deal with the higher pressures than Adley at this moment in time.
he's definitely got more experience, more pedigree. Obviously, he's an Olympian as well, isn't he?
Yeah,
Um, but
bronze
I don't know.
medalist.
I just look at the two of them, and it's the same way as like obviously I'm a big AJ fan, yeah, but it's the same way when I saw AJ in the bar and people were writing off the bar. I was thinking, I don't know if we should be writing him off. Do you know what I mean? So I know obviously they haven't been pitted against each other yet, but I don't think personally. like a Coley, I think that would kind of be his level right now if it came to the heavyweight division. And
I hear it.
rushing him into those big fights. I get it. I mean, financially, why wouldn't you, innit? I mean, you've come to the heavyweight division for a reason. Obviously, there's issues at you with you fighting at the what do you call it? At the cruiserweight weight.
Yeah.
But going and plus that, the heavyweight division's where the real bread is at, innit, really. But I don't know if you want to rush straight into the big boy fights, man, because
Well,
I
that's the
would
thing.
actually.
No one's trying to. He's the one that is asking for these fights. That's the thing. So it's not. If it was a case of his promoters doing it, that's one thing. But no, he's the one that's saying no. These are the people that I want. I feel like I can do well against them, etc. I feel like I can beat these man. All right. Well, now you got to prove it because that's what you've been saying.
I agree
But I
that I
respect
think
it.
I would have more faith in him against the Dylan White than Adelaide
Yeah.
currently, just
No, well,
because.
obviously, yeah. Dylan's had like 2 fights in the last 4 years, so that doesn't surprise me
Yeah,
that people would
he,
say that.
exactly. Yeah, and he just off the eye test, Okoli looks a lot faster, a lot more faster. Sorry, than Dylan White than he does against Adelaide. Like Adelaide still got. He doesn't look slow. He's not pondering. He's not flat-footed, sort of in the same way that Dylan White is. And I
Mm.
don't think Dylan White, with the lack of like his punch resistance has gone down, so he can't strong arm guys anymore. Because when he was strong arming guys before, he had to come in close, and he might be a bit more concerned about that now. I reckon. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I hear that.
But who else has been quoted to fight Okoli?
Well, he said that he wanted the winner of Parker Dubois. He said he wanted to fight the winner of Zhang and Cabello. Uh, he basically, they said that whoever is above him in those WBC rankings, which was Zhang, Cabello, and Joseph Parker.
I would say Zhang. Zhang, just because of the lack of speed, might stylistically be a good matchup for him.
No, but you
Yeah.
say lack of speed, his hands are
But his
super quick.
timing, yeah, his
Yeah,
hands are quick and his timing's good too as well. And he sets punches up as well.
yeah.
He
And
sets
his
them up quite
defense,
well.
his defense is very, very good. So you think you're gonna throw that straight punch? Normally, he blocks that or he parries it away, and then he throws that counter left hook or the right or the right.
Plus, yeah.
Yeah, it's a long night.
Plus, he's an orthodox as well. Sorry, he's a southpaw as well, isn't he?
Southpaw, yep. And Lawrence doesn't do great. He does
Against
okay, but he's
southpaw.
not,
Yeah,
because it's his foot placement doesn't lead well to fighting southpaws a lot of the time. He's been levels above some that he has fought, but you can see where he has the issues. And
Yeah.
you've got to remember, Zhang's actually taller than him with a very similar reach. So those advantages you don't have either.
Ooh, yeah. How do you think he does against the short or quick guys like a Caballero? Because Caballero is quite quick. He's quite nifty.
Well, if you think about it, to him, a Caballero is what he was fighting at cruiserweight, because he was always the one towering over the other opponents. So
But what
even
he
though
had,
Caballero's got
sorry,
the
go on.
size,
Mm,
he have the more size on him, but
mm.
it will feel a lot more at home. His issue is going to be the guys that are eye length or the guys that are taller. That's not what he was dealing with
Because
at
now that,
cruiserweight.
yeah, that's something new now, isn't it?
Yeah,
But I know he was brought into a lot of the sparring sessions with the big heavyweights, innit? You know, like when they was fighting the quicker guys, like Fury brought him in to kind of replicate the Wilder style. I
mm,
know AJ's probably had him in there a few times as well. Do you know what I mean? I
yeah.
think it might. Don't you think it would be a bit of a shock to see, yeah, like a smaller guy, but where he's actually concerned about the power now coming back?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
anyone with a peekaboo or an ambush style, I think, is what will give him the most nightmares, especially if they're quick or if they've
Yeah,
got some kind of explosivity. So
like a
that would be
prime,
where,
like a prime Chisora.
yeah, but quicker. Like if you think about it, Adley probably, if he could get his feet moving consistently for like 10, 12 rounds, that
Mm.
quickness would be where the nightmare is, because he could get in quick. He's got quick legs.
Yeah,
Like Wardley is quite quick on his feet as well. If you remember, Wardley built himself up to 240 something. He came into the heavyweight division at like 217 pounds. Most people said he should have went down to cruiserweight.
yeah.
So
Wardley's not a natural heavyweight. I think his head is like literally about 30% of his weight, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? If I'm being honest, he's got a massive head though, isn't it?
No comment.
Alright, so don't worry, he's not gonna mash you up, bro. Don't worry
No, no,
about
no.
it.
Me and Fabio were cool. Me and Fabio were cool. I mean,
I
look,
like him.
he.
Actually, I'm a big fan of him. He's a
What I will
gentleman.
say is he's got a strong head. I don't know about. I'm not going to talk about the size of it, but it's very sturdy looking.
He's got a big head. He's definitely got Somali in his family, bro. What I was gonna say though, yeah, I reckon you see, talking about Wardley and Adelaide, yeah.
Mm.
Do you remember like obviously how Dubois and Joyce when they fought? You know who Frank really wanted to win.
Yeah,
I think when it came to Wardley and Adelaide, I think Frank really wanted Adelaide to win.
he did because at that point Wardley wasn't signed to him. Wardley was a free agent.
Exactly, yeah. And I think even now, just off what he thinks their ceilings are, yeah. Because remember, Wardley still got that white collar tag in it, yeah. I
Yeah.
think Wardley will get fed to the Lions a little bit, yeah. Whereas I think Adelaide, in comparison, will be slowly and pragmatically built up in the same way that Dubois was. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what? I hear what you're saying, but I don't think it will be as drastic as that, purely because Fabio Wardley at this point has actually got quite a big fan base. Like he's got that large Ipswich crowd, he's got the football crowd with him, plus
Mm.
he's high entertainment. So whereas like, the Joe Joyces and them, man, like they was good in the ring, but they was a bit stiff and robotic outside and you didn't really see the personality till unless it
That's
was
true,
like
yeah.
a bit of a cumbersome personality. Fabio is very engaging on social media,
Oh,
speaks
great
brilliantly.
talker.
He's
Yeah,
exactly great on the mic and all that stuff. So you want to try and protect that asset as much as you can, while obviously still giving him the proper tests.
yeah.
So I
And
don't
the
think he'll
age as
feed
well.
into the
The age
wolves.
as well, isn't it?
Yeah, he's only 29.
He is, yeah. I think,
So
how old is Adelaide? Adelaide's 28, isn't it?
no, I think he's younger than that. I think he's 27. I
Okay,
think he's
yeah.
27.
I'm talking bare smack about him. I saw him in my gym actually not too long ago. I wasn't talking any of this smack in person. I think a big
Yeah,
unit,
but
bro.
probably the fact that he can't see your face on these streams might make it a bit easier to talk smack.
Yeah, yeah, alhamdulillah. Yeah. What do you think about oh yeah, what do you think about Yard on Talksport, broski?
Oh, it sounded there sounded like a lot of delusion, but it also sounds like them man truly have got into their head whatever they're saying is the truth, even though there's receipts to prove otherwise.
You
But
know
you
what, I
know
wouldn't
what? Do you
go
think?
on, sorry, continue.
No, I'm just literally like, if that's what you believe. The one thing I will say about Anthony Yard, as much as I criticize the amount of horrible fights he takes and just fights the bin men, because he has tried to fight at the top level a couple of times. It's not like someone like a Tank Davis who just avoids everything at all costs. Like he does, he has
Yeah.
shown that he will go in there. It's just that he
I,
won't
I
do
think
it unless there's a title on the line.
I think where Tank kind of takes that Mayweather route, I think Yard is kind of taking more the Amir Khan-ish route, I suppose. It's like you're fighting the guys that there's no shame in losing to, yeah?
Yeah.
Which, but then the guys at your domestic sort of level, you don't want to fight because that's like, do you know what
That's
I'm
more
trying to say?
damaging it's more damaging if you lose to a domestic rival than a
Yeah.
world heavyweight champ
So that
or a
whole
world
Kell
champ,
Brook,
sorry.
yeah, I remember. Trav was saying it once. He's basically referring to Fury not wanting to fight against AJ because he was like, if he goes off and loses to a Usyk or a Wilder, he can always say, "I'm the guy that took that challenge in it." Yeah, but
Yeah.
in the same way that Amir Khan done that with Kell Brook, but I actually put a message in the chat and I said, yeah, same with what Yard is doing to Bawatsi.
Yeah.
And
It's the same thing that what's his name? Ricky Hatton did with Junior Witter. Like
yeah. Oh yeah. Wait,
so
Witter was cold. But you
yeah.
know, I've come to the conclusion, based and Yard seems like a lovely guy to be honest, but I realize he's not too bright, bro. Yeah. And the
Mhm.
reason I say is, you know, when you're a Queensbury fighter, yeah,
Yeah.
you are protected in the media more than any fighter at any stable. Yeah. And
Mm.
the reason why I say that is because they've got a whole team of like spin doctors, right? If you mess up in the media, if you do anything a bit shaky, you got the likes of Frank Warren. He's bullying everyone, every interviewer in your defense. He's going on Talksport, badding up the place. You got Dev Sani. He's backing you with his wisecracks. You've even got Gareth A. Davis,
Yeah.
who's just
Richie
doing
Woodall, Steve
and
Bunce.
yeah. And then you've got
Mm.
their latest recruitment, Don Charlton. Yeah.
Yeah.
But now what we're seeing is Yard, yeah, he's being left to his own devices, and it's kind of like he wants to stand away from Tunde because I think Tunde does more damage than good, even though I suppose he means well, innit, yeah.
Yeah.
But now when you got Yard, when he gets asked tough questions, yeah, he just does like the LL Cool J thing. He starts laughing, licking his lips, and that. You know what I mean? Do you know what I'm trying to say, bro? Like I
I
was
mean,
seeing,
yeah.
I can see, like when you see like man them minute, yeah, that some man can't code switch in it. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So like I see him talking to Simon Jordan, and I think Simon Jordan kind of pressed him, like to say, did you avoid that fight or were you? And his response was impossible. Yeah, I want to find that clip in it. Yeah, like, and he said, well, no, it's clearly possible because this was what happened.
Yeah. I know what
And
you're talking about.
he didn't know how to deal with him. Yeah, do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's interesting actually. I think with Yard, isn't it? It's a shame, innit? Because I look at him right now at this stage of his career. He's like kind of like the Joel Santana of boxing. Like, he's
Oh,
someone that promised. He's someone that promised so much, but kind of delivered so little. You know what I mean?
I hear what you're saying.
Like when we're looking at
Um,
marketing, the same reason why we're looking at like an AJ as being why he's so huge right now. Like there's a woman in bloody Wickham right now that knows who AJ is. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
He's like 93. Do you know what I mean? Like Anthony Yard could have had that. Like he's engaging to an extent. He's exciting, good looking fella. Do you know what I mean? He should be clear, bro. He shouldn't be fighting in York Walls, bro. Do you know what I mean? And there's a reason for that.
No, I hear it. I mean, all it would have taken is just one or two more, not even risks, but just like take the fights that people want to see. Because there's just too much posturing. If they
Way too
got
much.
past that posturing and actually just deliver, and then the thing what makes it worse is the time when they're claiming, oh, the contract is up. That's the
Mm,
one time that you actually want to be there because you can be in the mix. If it's about making money, which you've said it's about before,
mm.
you're not making any money more than you're going to make on these Riyadh shows and all these opportunities that you're going to get.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah,
now
yeah,
is
yeah.
now is the time that you want to do up free agency or talk about, oh well, the contract's over now, let's go and see what they got for us over here.
Yeah.
Yes.
At the worst possible time. So it just goes to show, innit? Because I think like Frank Warren, if he likes you as a fighter, he really rides for you, though, innit?
100%.
So and Yard was definitely one of his favorites. You know what I mean? So he should have stuck around there, man. But
Frank got him
I
two
don't know.
world title shots. Like you don't do
Literally.
that for someone that you, especially the route and the way that you went about it as well. You only do that for the ones
Yeah.
that you really care or you think can be something. But
Yeah.
it would. I think the problem was ultimately. I think Frank did too much mollycoddling. I think Yard and the team are a little bit entitled to the, oh well, we're not really going to do anything stressful unless the title's involved, because Frank enabled that. If he didn't give them that so early on in the career, I don't feel like they would be that way now. They may have had to take more tougher tests before them, but they was protected in that
Yeah.
Queensbury bubble, and now they feel that they should still have that, even though
I
you're not a
think what that
prospect
comes
anymore.
to, I think what that comes to is the obviously part of that isn't his fault because there's obviously Frank always likes to maneuver, but in his weight class, it's not that deep, innit? Like there's not that much competitive fighters in that division. It's
Oh
it's
no,
very small.
175. There's a lot of competitive fighters. It's just that we don't know all the names, or some people don't know all the names, but there's a bunch
Yeah.
of them.
So it's like you see in the heavyweight division, you can give like say like a Daniel Dubois when he was coming up, right?
Yeah.
He could have like a tough like a Nathan Gorman, which could sell and do a little bit. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like where and it's a bit of a challenge. He'll show us sort of what level he's kind of at. He could have a Joe Joyce. Do you know what I mean? And Yard kind of, if he had that sort of level of competition, it would, it's a lot more risk and reward sort of thing. You know what I mean?
I mean, but he had those. He had enough big names, whether it was here, whether it was across the pond, whether at the time we don't know if it was a case where Frank maybe couldn't have afforded some of the opponents he should have had, because remember there was a period where Queensbury weren't like the most lucrative, not like they've been over the last 2-3 years. So maybe that could have been an issue. But there's plenty of names. There was even a bunch of faded guys who were former world champions that you could have got in the ring with, like from before, the era just before yours, the generation before. But
Who's saying
they
like a
just didn't.
Callum Johnson maybe, or
Yeah, I mean
or-
that fight was
who was the
supposed to
Welsh guy
happen.
as well? What was the Welsh guy's name? I forget his name. He beat Craig Richards.
Oh, you mean
Buglioni.
Frank
Yeah.
Buglioni? Well, no, but even the Callum Johnson fight, if I remember correctly, I'm sure they turned that fight down. When Johnson was the British champion, I think they turned that down, if I remember correctly. But even outside of that, you've got like there's a bunch of older guys that you could have spoke with, or even a Sullivan Barrera would have been a good opponent back in the day, and is a name.
Yeah. Something to build on, isn't it, really?
Yeah, so
It's a shame, man. I think like do you know what? You know what's good though, base. Yeah, you see, like now, obviously, we're entering a different era of boxing now, isn't it? I think what we kind of like the last 10 years, let's say, yeah, we've kind of had like the after effects of like the Mayweather disease, right?
mm-hmm.
So like what he kind of built and like made like what he made acceptable. And I think the posturing, like what you just mentioned, a lot of it, like what's coming from Yard and what's coming from Tank now, is kind of things that they've kind of picked up from him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or maybe their team has picked up from his team or him. Yeah. But
yeah,
now I think with now Turkey getting into the game, and we're seeing how much boxers are appreciated for going out there and taking fights. Like we're seeing people like the U6 being champion like they should be. We're seeing the Derek Chisora champion. I mean, I know Derek Chisora's not the greatest boxer in the world, but he's always gone in there and tried, innit? Do you know what I mean?
yeah. He's
And
always
fought who he
taking
had
the
to.
fights.
Yeah, so we're seeing the Wardleys even like we're seeing guys that are really out here taking challenges, not doing the ducking, not posturing, straight as you get, yeah. And we're seeing the charlatans for who they really are in it. So I think that era now, what we're left with now, you see like the guys that are still dwindling. I did think Okoli was part of that, and I'm still yet to be bought on whether he isn't.
Yeah, I hear
But
that.
but we're sort of seeing those guys getting X'd out of the game now, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Do you
Hopefully
know
they
what's
can
mad
say
though?
something.
You think
Yeah.
about that when you look at, because remember one of the big things about like Anthony Yarden, obviously the career was I didn't have a big amateur career, like 7 amateur fights and XYZ. Now personally, I know that he actually had more than 7, but
Mm.
outside of that, if you've got that, you've got Fabio Wardley with what was it, 2 to 4 white collar bouts.
He had 9 white
At,
collar fights.
who Fabio?
Yeah. Because I remember when he
Okay,
got signed, that's when Dylan had that big roster, innit? Like, big up Dylan. He actually had a big roster, like of fighters, like the Bad Bitches, the React Pools, the Woodleys. I remember I was watching like an undercard fight and they was talking about him. And I remember because
okay.
obviously I was with my brethren who's actually a white collar fighter, innit? And they were like, yeah, he's only had 9 white collar fights. And I was like, bro, look at him now. You know what I mean?
Okay, so even that, so I was gonna say 9 white collar fights here, but then when you say, oh, I've got to get my experience, I'm kind of learning on the job. But imagine Fabio's been learning on the job and taking harder tests than you at a more dangerous weight.
Exactly, yeah.
Like that's where you think to yourself, raw, this is actually like that's a damning indictment on you. He's
Yeah.
never fought for a world title, but if you look at who he's beat in terms of in comparison to who you've beat or who you've been in the ring with,
Much better
based on your
resume, yeah.
levels, yeah,
Yeah. Like when you think about all the like, obviously, I know I can tell you've been a boxing fan for a very long time, bro. Yeah.
mm,
What British great boxer, yeah, or even decent boxer, never had domestic scraps? Do you
none
know
that
what I
I
mean?
could think of. Yeah,
None, literally, bro. Like,
especially back
you,
in the day, everything was built off of the domestic rivalries.
yeah, that was your bread and butter. Like the fact that he hasn't fought even at least like a Dan Aziz or Craig Richards or like obviously Buatsi, that could be his Nigel Benn right now if he was a
Well,
proper.
but
Do you know what I mean?
they'll tell you that his Nigel Benn is Lyndon Arthur or Dex Spellman. That's probably what
Bro,
they'll
I
say.
swear, have you ever? I cringed for him when he said I should have that trilogy. I was like,
Yeah.
what on earth is going on over here, bro?
And imagine saying you have a trilogy as your warm up as well. The optics is just wrong all the
It's
way
mental,
around.
bro. I don't know, man. So he just needs someone in his team, man. He needs someone in his team. But I don't know if at some point you have to blame the fighter. Really, you think maybe you're just comfortable with having yes men, or I don't know, man. I heard Tunde was a bad boy back in the day. Maybe he's Suge Knight in him right now. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I've
Do you know
heard
what I mean?
that. I mean, I've got it on good authority that he did used to get busy back in the day. But I've also heard that what you just said is actually quite correct. That Anthony has a lot more say in what's going on than most people believe. Like a lot of people blame just Tunde, where I've heard that no, Anthony's very complicit in certain steps and moves that are being taken.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, who knows?
We'll see, man. Good luck to him anyway, man. Oh yeah, I wanted to say as well. Not many people. I don't really see anyone talking about CBS and Zerdo.
Mm,
I thought that was quite an interesting fight. You know what I think about CBS, bro. Yeah,
go for it.
I reckon. You see, if CBS was a heavyweight, bro, yeah,
Mm.
he would be huge. You know that, innit?
Well, in terms of what? In terms of the public, you mean?
Yeah, like I think like he embodies everything English. You know that, innit?
Yeah.
Like when you look at a CBS, it's like I study like our brothers from the mountains, the Caucasus, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's different types. Obviously we get you got the Sonny Edwards, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's English, but he's diluted in it. He's like that's the Englishman mixed with bare Channel U and N dubs and that, yeah.
Right.
And you got CBS, he's a proper Englishman. You know what I mean? Like when I see the way, like you see when you look at him, like the old school pictures when you was in history and you're seeing the British people in the Blitz and all that, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what CBS looks like. And when, when you see like English, like we love a valiant loser, innit? We don't.
Yeah.
We can celebrate a loss in English, innit? It's in our culture, sort of thing. As long as like the loser shows valiance and he's a gentleman, he's not outwardly, you know how like Chris Eubank Senior wasn't liked back in the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Back in the it's because he was kind of like the arrogance, the cocky. Same thing like with Ben Whittaker right now. Like people ain't really feeling all of that. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But I think if he was a heavyweight, yeah, or even a welterweight, yeah, he'd be a huge star, bro. I think like cruiserweight's never really been a division for the casuals. I think just if Usyk retired after he won that Muhammad Ali trophy, yeah, like as a purist, that would have been enough to cement him as a legend, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? Because I remember that cruiserweight division. That cruiserweight division was mean, bro. There's some serious fighters in there. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. One of the hardest ones out there.
Yeah. But cruiser has never been a division for the casuals. Do you know what I mean? That's how
True.
I test the casuals. The minute someone starts talking to me about boxing and all that, and I'll just feel, oh yeah, yeah. What do you think about the cruiserweight division? And it's a good way to filter them out, innit? You know what I mean?
I hear
But
that.
in the same way that like the public loved a Ricky Hatton or a Bruno, minus the jokes, I suppose, with Bruno because he had a bit of fat banter in it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think CBS would be a household name. Do you know what I mean? Like he is like he's a brave man. He comes to fight. He's a gentleman in the way he conducts himself. Remember, we like AJ's a huge star. We're from London though. Yeah. I don't know how they see AJ in Exeter or Cornwall or Aldershot and these places here. Do you know what I mean? But someone
Yeah.
like a CBS, he'd capture the hearts and minds of them. You know what I'm saying over there?
No, I hear that. I mean, I
Yeah.
do. I agree. He does have that everyman vibe about him,
Yeah.
and he's
Like
a trier.
relatable. And he's a try. Yeah, God loves a try. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I hear that.
Yeah. So I like the way he fought against Well, I like the way he fights most of the time, actually. To be honest, do you know what I mean? It would
Well,
have been
that being
interesting.
said, I knew that Zerdo was winning that fight.
Oh, so yeah.
There was no, I had no hesitation when I made that pick for that. He just, from I saw the way Zerdo started fighting against Joe Smith Jr. and he started to box and move, and he's on the inside and he's moving on the outside and he's cutting angles. I'm like, CBS ain't dealt with this before. He's
Do
not
you reckon Joe
equipped.
Smith and CBS are kind of similar?
They've got a similar mentality, but they're not similar boxers.
Mm.
You can, I can see where you would find us or try to find a similarity between the two, but yeah, they do fundamentally do things differently. Like
So,
Smith
alright.
tries to stay out on the outside and he tries to sort of fight from mid range, where CBS loves to stay inside. He tries to basically just roughhouse on the inside and get his work away like that.
Yeah. I think his style maybe ain't built for longevity, but yeah, I'm excited to see what happens for. He's gonna be too small for heavyweight, of course. I think
Oh
even
yeah.
React Paul will be too small for heavyweight, innit? But I don't know what's happened to React Paul, by the way. Anyway, has anyone seen
Well,
him again?
apparently no, he's moving. I think he was supposed to be moving up to Bridger. I think he is going to heavyweight, but you got to remember, all he needs to do is go to like 230. 225, 230. He doesn't really need to be much bigger than that. Even if he goes to 240, he can carry that quite comfortably. It's if he tries to get bigger than that is where his problem would lie.
Yeah, I don't.
But
Yeah,
you got to remember, them guys, yes, they might be technically they're small heavyweights, but they're quick heavyweights. So that's where they get the advantage. So as long as you don't go on the inside trying to just slug in mano, and you actually use your attributes, you can be very successful.
but yeah, they've got natural attributes in speed, but like Usyk wouldn't. All right, Usyk is what 6'3", right?
Yeah.
But his speed wouldn't be enough to get him to where he is right now. It's being able to cut off those angles, being able to like use that speed to your advantage. I don't think React Paul has that natural. He's like another sort of yard in a way where he turned pro very late, innit? I think he turned pro at like 29,
No, he turned pro at 19. No, he turned
React Paul.
pro. Sorry, no, sorry, he turned pro at 27.
Yeah,
Because
that's
he's
React Paul from the road, man. He's
yeah.
turned.
I know where Enzi is from. I know where Enzi is because
Yeah,
he's
I
not
think,
that far from me. But no, but look,
yeah.
I hear that. But no, the thing is, but his not just his speed, because he's got the speed and he's got power. He's got genuine, legit heavyweight power. Plus, he's got that speed. So, if as long as he doesn't try to get into those mid-range scraps or those inside scraps, he could be successful. I'm not saying he would be a champ or anything, but he could equip himself pretty well because his attributes would benefit him in certain instances.
Yeah, I think the good thing about the heavyweight division is so deep right now. The heavyweight division, I think we're like I saw something that what's the name, Hatman Strikes Back.
Yeah.
I saw a thing where he was saying that we're in a golden age in the heavyweight division right now, and I was like, you know what, he might be right, because it's a deep well right now. There's so many different fighters in it, and it's so deep that you could actually have, let's say, every fighter right now can have 5 fights that are like legacy building, bro. Do you know what I mean? Without even touching the title. You know what I mean? Like you could have 5 great fights that mark you down. Especially like we're looking at before this generation here, the British. If we talk British great heavyweights, we'd probably be only able to name them on one hand, bro. We had the Bruno, we had the Lennox. Is he even really British? You know what I mean? Great, he's an all-time great, of course, but who else do we have really?
I mean, Bogner maybe.
We had the guy that knocked out the guy outside Box Park in Shoreditch. What was his name again?
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
I suppose. You know what I mean? Now we've obviously got like at least how many elite British heavyweights do we have right now? Okay, we've got Fury. I'd say the bar's up there as well. AJ was, maybe he still is. Like we're deep right now, my boy. You know what I mean? This is a
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I feel there's a lot more people that are of the same level. I don't know if I'd call them all necessarily elite, but world level, yes, and there's a lot of them. It's quite deep on that world scene. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But I guess the difference is all that now, like a lot of them, they may not be, and I think it's the same thing that happened in some of the other eras. Like the people there's no one that's leagues above anyone else except for Usyk. So when you remove him out of the equation, everyone else is on similar levels or similar playing field, which therefore makes it compelling and makes it exciting. But it's when you've got that one guy or those 2 guys that are just leagues above everyone else to the point there's no one else can get a look in. That's when you're like, oh, well, yeah, it's kind of a dead era.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, now I agree with the Usyk take as well. Especially, I mean, he is special, isn't it? Like, I think it's time we just admitted that that man he's different gravy, isn't it?
Oh no, I've
But
been admitting that.
you've been at it, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
I
it.
was one of the first people that was talking about Usyk, like when everyone else was talking about Fury and AJ and whatnot.
He just came and destroyed the apple cart, innit?
Yep.
Like a smaller version of Usyk, yeah. And I only mean this not obviously talent wise, but in the same way that he destroyed the apple cart, right?
Mm.
Was what CBS did, because obviously
Okay.
we was talking about Reactpour and what's his name,
Cody.
Cody, yeah.
That's true.
And obviously CBS just came and upset that in it, but I wanted to ask actually before we move on to that because that's a great topic what you were just saying there in it, yeah. You
Mm.
see, cruiserweights, right? Are you obviously you said Zerda was gonna beat CBS, in it, yeah?
Yeah.
Who is the best cruiserweight for you then? Is it clearly what's this, what Opataya, or
Jai Pattaya. Um,
is that
I've
like clear? Is that no like debate?
no, I think he's the best. After that performance, it's not as clear cut to me. I still think he's number one, but there's a lot more room for discussion now. Whereas before, he was just levels above.
He just looked mean, innit? He looked like a Terminator at first, bro.
Oh yeah, he's got that level of intensity.
Yeah,
It's very
he's a
very
scary man to
scary.
be honest.
You know the joke
The
is,
eyes don't lie, innit? Like sometimes
yeah,
when you look at his eyes, you think, bloody hell.
no, that's the thing. He's very very scary looking, but he's genuinely one of like the nicest guys you meet outside the ring. But
Oh,
he's
you met
just
him?
he yeah, many times. He's
Oh,
been
fair.
I've interviewed him a couple of times. In person I'm talking about. I've been to the gym. I've watched him spot. Like he's but when it's go time with him. That's the thing.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
because he's doing it for like, basically he feels like he's got to represent and he's got to kind of feed the family, so to speak, like the entire family.
of
That's a,
course, yeah.
that's where the drive and intensity comes from.
It's true, yeah. And like that part of the world as well, like New Zealand. I've noticed that them kind of man, they've got the humble persona. They are humble, innit? Like outside of boxing and all that, innit? But when it comes to
Yeah,
business, yeah, they got that warrior spirit, innit? You know what I mean?
yeah.
Mhm.
Samoans, Tongans, Mauians, they're all like that. They're all family orientated. They're all like lovable until it's time to go to war, and then
Yeah.
they're the worst people to be around.
Honorable, innit? Yeah. But
Yeah,
savages at the same time. You know what I mean?
100.
You know what I mean? But what was you saying just before that actually? You were saying something though that was very interesting actually with the so you're saying Usyk is levels above the rest, innit?
Yeah. And I think the reason we have to say that is because he gives up more advantages than anyone else in the division, and he still manages to deal with everyone in the division. He finds a way to beat.
I would correct you. I'd say he gives up more advantages than anyone in any division, which is why he's my pound for pound number one. Because we Crawford doesn't give up £40.
Well, yeah, in terms of weight, that's one thing. But I'm referring to in the divisions he now obviously having to campaign in. He's
Mm,
always the smaller man. Like
mm,
even when he fought Chisora, like he's taller than Chisora, but
mm.
Chisora still outweighed him by like 40 pounds. Dubois outweighed him by about a stone and a bit.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
he's never fought someone at heavyweight the same size as him. He's always been the smaller man. But
literally,
yeah,
yeah,
but he's always just mastered, controlled them, or stopped them.
yeah. Yeah. I think even now, if you plucked any heavyweight right now that was his kind of weight, maybe a Toma, maybe not even a
Mm.
Toma.
But Thomas,
Yeah,
even the Thomas, he's 240.
yeah.
He's
Is
a
Toma two
big,
forty?
yeah, he's a big solid youth.
He's another one. He's got a big head in it. That's what it is. It's 30%. Toma's dangerous
That's
though, isn't it?
he's very very talented. He's definitely is a prodigy. It's just about whether or not he carries on in that
Yeah.
vein. But yeah, no,
I,
he's a
I think I watch these boxers' interviews in it quite a lot in it, yeah, just to gauge like how they are. And
mm,
I'm impressive with Toma. I don't see him as being like a flaky guy, like in the same way that what's his name? Yard can be, or even a Coley. I think I question Okole's mentality just for the fact that he was 6'5" and he fought in the cruiserweight in the first place. Like that already sends alarm bells to me. Like it's like Why do you want to be a weight bully? What makes you want to go to that division? You know what I mean?
Well, do you know what? To be fair though, I think if you look at a Coley from like obviously remember he was like a fat kid at the start, so he just like started boxing to lose mad weight. But when you look at his frame, he's not really. You could imagine him, maybe not now, but like say 10 years ago, being one of them 14 stone four tall guys, like the football players that are like 6'5", but they only weigh 14 stone. He
Do
looks
you,
like he had that kind of
do you,
frame.
do you know why I disagree, my bro? Yeah, it's because I think that more about a react pool. You know, like a react pool, naturally, if he weren't training, you always have to think, yeah, base, yeah, how would a man
Mm,
look if he wasn't training? You see, some man, like me personally, if I don't train, I'll be a fat shit.
same.
Yeah. Yeah, do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But some man, if they don't train, they'll just be maga. I think React Pool, if he didn't train, would just be a maga guy. But I think a
Okay.
Cody, if you look at his frame, it's very wide. You look at his
No, now
shoulders, this is his
is
chest.
no, it's filled out now. But I
He look
mean,
too
I
fat.
think before when he was that big fat you, I
Mm.
think that he was built basically had a lot of fat on top of a skinnier frame. But I think as he got older, he
Mm.
filled out a bit more and is now sort of grown into that. But if you look at just his actual frame itself, his legs, the length of his legs, the length of his arms, even though he's got the wide shoulders, he still looks like a guy that's not really supposed to have that much size on him.
Yeah,
He
nah,
reminds
in
me
the
a little
legs,
bit
yeah,
of
the
a
legs, he'll always have them sort of skinny legs.
yeah.
But I don't know, like the way his body's built, like you see when you look at the shoulders and the chest sort of thing, it's like this is he's naturally kind of a chunky fella, bro. Do you know what I mean? I don't think there's ever been a fight that he's never had to boil himself down to, bro. Do you know what I mean?
I hear that. I mean, I think maybe the first couple when he first started, I don't think it was as bad. But yeah, over obviously once he turned like sort of 28,
Mm.
29, I think that's when it started to really become an issue.
Yeah,
And I
because
think lockdown was a big catalyst when people couldn't go out and do nothing. Like I don't think he was at home like training or watching his weight before man went to Dubai and all that. So
true, yeah, yeah. Obviously, he's getting money them times. I actually lost 32 kilos during lockdown. You know,
oh wow.
I actually lost. Yeah, yeah. I got on my sexy thing during lockdown. Yeah.
Well, sexy thing and couldn't do nothing with it. That's
Couldn't
crazy.
do nothing with it, just roasting, yeah, smooth. Roast at the place, my bro. You know what I mean?
Oh mate.
But listen, that I'm thinking about going Saudi actually for the thing fight.
Which
The
one? Oh,
Turbo
what
my mate.
the rematch?
Yeah, my mate's trying to draw me out to go to the one in obviously the Tyson Fury one.
Mm.
But I don't know. I'm not too fussed about that undercard as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I can't lie. Ever since Madrimov came off, that undercard's looking a lot less appealing than it did before.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But I'm trying to see what I can do for February as well. I can't lie to you.
Because that is I don't in my lifetime anyway. I haven't seen a card like that in it. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what's mad about that card? I went on BoxRec the other day, right, to look at the fights.
Mm.
Every single fight except the bottom two were given 5 stars, and the bottom two were given 4 stars. That's the first time I've ever seen that on a fight card where every fight
Yeah,
is a minimum of 4-star fight on
that's
BoxRec.
that's crazy. That's crazy. Let's do before I go right now. Let's do a quick prediction for that under that card right there, bro.
Well, you know I can't give predictions until the video comes out, so you
What
can give
video?
predictions.
What video?
I do basis picks before these fights. I have a video that comes out where I break down. I give my picks for the
Oh,
fights.
okay, yeah. Obviously, yeah, yeah. Let's not mash up your content then. In that case,
Yeah,
all right, go on.
appreciate it.
Throw them at me.
All right. So what for the February one? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So first of all, you got Zhang versus Caballero.
My heart is telling me Zhang.
Okay. Is your
My
head telling
brain,
you
my
that as
brain is
well?
also edging towards Zhang as well. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Joshua Buatsi,
I've
Callum
been getting
Smith.
these lot very wrong lately as well, by the way. So I'm
All
due
right.
for
Well,
them.
we won't hold you. You get a chance
Yeah,
to redo it closer to the fight.
yeah, guys.
So Joshua Buatsi, Callum Smith.
Oh, Buatsi all day long.
Okay.
Callum's rub now, in my opinion.
Okay. Shakur Stevenson, Floyd Schofield.
I'll say Shakur. I don't really follow that division too much. It's a lot of cappers in that division, to be honest, in my opinion.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Virgil
But
Ortiz versus Israel
I'll say
Madrimov.
why as well. Sorry to
Okay, go
interrupt
for it.
you. That whole let's elaborate on that actually. Yeah. So we got Shakur Stevenson. You see that whole division, and then the
Yeah,
division above it as well. Yeah. That is the most diva-ish division.
true.
That's where the fights should be happening and are just not happening. Do you see even like you got Twitter in it? Yeah. Do you see how Shakur Stevenson moves on Twitter, bro?
Yeah.
He moves like he's a character in a wire, bro. He's threatening Bear Man. He's got Jay Prince getting onto Bear Man. He's getting onto Cameron on Mace for having an opinion, which is it's hilarious, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's doing his best fighting on Twitter. That's where he's really undefeated on Twitter. Well, actually, no, he's not.
Well, no, he got defeated by Cambosis. I think Cambosis beat him on there still.
I can both cooked him up on Twitter.
Yeah, Cambosis is what he's undefeated on Twitter. Like,
Cambosis is funny. Yeah, he's actually quite funny. Isn't it? Aussie's not cold though. Aussie's got the man games, man.
oh yeah, 100%,
Yeah,
100%.
But I'll say yeah. All right, go on. I'll give it to Shakur anyway.
All right, Virgil Ortiz versus Israel Madrimov.
You know what? I would have backed Madrimov. I think Madrimov slept on. Obviously, the way I like the way he kind of performed a little bit against what's his name, Crawford, isn't it?
Yeah.
To be honest, yeah, I like his style. And you know these Soviet guys, isn't it? You know where's he from? Ukraine.
No, Madrimov's from Uzbekistan, I think.
Yeah. Potato, you know what I'm saying? But them, you know that part of the world, them man are all serious, bro. Whether it's I like him anyway. Yeah, I'll give it to him. But Virgil's a good fighter. I rate Virgil as well, to be honest. I think Boots
Virgil's
stuck him.
cool.
I think Boots stuck him. You know.
I mean, I don't disagree, but what I can also say is I can understand someone who's saying, well, how can I duck someone if I'm not in their weight class? Like, so I get that point of view as well. Like,
Wait,
then if they was in the
at 154 though.
yeah, but remember Boots is a champion at 147. He hasn't moved to 154. So I can understand if someone's saying, well, hold on, but I'm not from that weight class. I can't duck you if me and you ain't in the same class.
We know Boots is looking to move up. He's been chasing that. I think I think he's been using Crawford's name to build his name in a way.
He has been.
Americans do that. Yeah,
he has been. That's not even disputable. Like everywhere, yeah. I think most people have realized that now.
In the same way Benavidez did it with Canelo, in the same way that Wilder did it with AJ, I think he's doing exactly the same thing. But now, when they're trying to throw someone else at him, you see the problem with a lot of these guys, they want to call out, they want to go straight to the mountaintop without fighting the guys in between. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't want to build their legacy. They just want straight victory. Like you can't just fight Bowser straight away. You have to fight the other characters, innit? You have to fight Donkey Kong. You have to fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
But they're not trying to hear that.
No, I get that. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Okay, so then there's Dubois and Parker.
I'm not gonna lie. I think it's Dubois, bro. Bro, I'm sure I said this on Monday Night Smoke once, yeah. You used to watch The Wire, innit, my guy?
Yeah, I haven't watched it in a while, but I know who you're talking about, yeah. And you said which person is each character.
I said Dubois is Marlo Stanfield, bro, yeah?
Yeah.
And in the way where I say he's got the perfect temperament for boxing, bro. He doesn't take nothing to heart. He's had, like, people question AJ's mentality, yeah, because of what's, and rightfully so to an extent. Yeah. I don't believe how they say he's chinny, because I've seen him get dropped multiple times and he's always got up and tried to fight, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with this whole he's so fragile. I think he is an overthinker that listens probably a little too much. But Dubois is a man that's came off fights. He's quit twice, in my opinion. Yeah, he quit against Joyce. That was right, though. I think he should have actually quit for that one, yeah? And he quit against Usyk. That one was disgusting to me. Like, I can't understand or respect why he did that. You just gave up, basically. You know what I mean? Because that weren't a concussive blow that should have taken you out of the game, innit? You know what I mean? I think you just saw, obviously, you gave him that shot. That I did think it was below the belt.
Same.
And after that, you just realized you had no moves for the guy, and it obviously is demotivating. You know what I mean? I've been in that situation where I'm fighting someone just on the street, and I'm like, I got no moves for this guy. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
you just gotta stay in there, dog. You know what I mean? But
yeah, I hear
what I'm saying
that.
is, what I'm saying is, that is mad, isn't it? Like, if what's happened to Dubois happened to AJ, he would have been finished a long time ago with AJ's sort of mentality. And I likened
True.
AJ to like a stringer bell. AJ was at the top of the game, but he started looking at other things too much. His eye was off the prize. He's thinking about property. He's thinking about all this other stuff. He's talking too much. He's being too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you see Stringer Bell's downfall at the end of the wire, it's very similar to the way AJ is moving now. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I hear that. It's a valid shout. But we got
Yeah,
to, I
but
guess we got to wait and just see if he can make that one last recovery. And see what happens there. All
I
right, two
believe
more
he can.
fights.
Sorry,
Two more fights. So Carlos Adames and Hamza Shiraz.
I don't know too much about Adamas. I'm impressed with Shiraz. I don't like how they try cut my boy out. What was his name?
Hey,
Yanni
Bentley.
Beck. My
Oh,
boy
Johnny
Yanni
Beck.
Beck. Yeah, yeah. I didn't like how they try to cut my boy out, Yanni Beck. I think he's the real problem. I don't know much about Adamas actually. Tell me about Adamas.
So Adames initially started his career at 147. It was a very big 147. Found it hard to make the weight. Went up to 154. Found it very hard to make the weight there as well. He seems to have blended in quite well at 160. Only lost one fight, which was to who was it that he lost to? Patrick Teixeira. Um, that was down at 154 at a time when he was finding it really hard to make the weight. Got dropped in that fight. I think that was the first time he got dropped, but he got back up and lost on a UD. So yeah, that other than that, he's just fought basically like the PBC mill of fighters. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I like Hamza Shiraz, innit? I think one thing that I find very interesting about him, he's so tall where he can actually cover his face and hide his body at the same time, innit? It's like that
yeah,
O'Hara Davis sort of thing, innit? That's going on right now. But he's got the very sharp jab as well. I like how he comes across as well, to be honest. Seems like a very humble guy. I can see the fact that he is trying to chase the money a little bit more than the legacy, because that's why he keeps on calling out the Chris Eubank. And Chris Eubank clearly hasn't got any ambition. Do you know what I mean?
well, I
But
mean, you say that I get it, but that's technically that Eubank fight is a legacy fight. So, but but even him saying that, he's still going for world titles now. He's not just waiting on Chris Eubank. That was because of the whole he was seen as the number one in Britain. All right, I want to prove that I'm the best in Britain. It was one of them ones. But now that he's past that, he's gone to the title. So and the thing is, before you might have said, "Oh, he's chasing the money." At this point, it actually doesn't even matter because he's a Saudi ambassador. The money is going. The money is coming. The
that's
money's
facts,
there.
yeah.
So
Obviously,
he can fight anyone now.
yeah, it's true. Obviously, he's Muslim as well, isn't it? So that's going to carry some weight in Saudi, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And yeah.
100%.
What do you think? Who do you think's the tougher fight for him though, Adamus or Janibek?
I think Yanni Beck, because Yanni Beck is also southpaw, and Yanni Beck would have seen, maybe not the guys as tall, but Yanni Beck would have seen the style, his style a lot more, or style similar. That doesn't mean that I still don't think he could beat him, but I think of the two, Yanni Beck is definitely a better fighter than Adames. Like Yanni Beck will beat Adames, so
Yeah.
he'll beat Lara as well.
You don't think they ducked my boy a little bit, or they swerved him a little piece?
Well, the thing is, they did, but actually, I won't say they did because they're still fighting a champion, but they done educated matchmaking. You've got to remember, Hamza is their golden ticket, right? He
Yeah.
can beat Yanni Beck, but they're not 100% sure about that. They're 100% sure that he can beat Adames. Adames has been very inactive over the last couple of years, whereas Yanni Beck hasn't been. Plus, Adames would be cheaper, and they've just got Denzel Bentley into that mandatory position for Yanni Beck's titles for the second time, and
Yeah,
Bentley
big up
did very
Denzel,
well
innit?
against him in the first fight.
I
So
like that
they're
kid. I like
looking,
that kid.
yes. So that's what I'm saying. So they're looking at it like, okay, we get two cracks at the apple. We get one champ over here. Hopefully, we can get another champ over there. We run the division. That's how they're
So,
looking at it.
all right, if we're gonna have another chat about this, if yeah,
Mm.
Shiraz beats Adames and he calls out Eubank again. We're gonna have another chat about this.
Okay, I'm down to have that chat.
Yeah, because I got a feeling that's gonna happen. What was the next fight, my boy?
And the last fight is Artur Beterbiev versus Dimitri Bivol 2.
Boy, that fight. We need to applaud how great that first fight though was, isn't it?
Oh, it was amazing.
Mate, that was the true purest. I've never seen a purer fight in probably since I don't know. What's the most purest? Was the purer fight you seen before that, bro?
Now, in
Like
terms of
the most purest friendly fight, I'm saying.
the only fight I could think of, actually no, the thing is that there's no fight that I can actually put on the same level of IQ, like jeopardy, intrigue, maneuverability, tactical. Now it's like, I think of the two, because most fights you get one guy that's mad tactical, one guy that's just kind of going for it, and then one guy might make an adjustment, and the other guy just has to throw caution to the wind.
This
That
was
one's
both
probably the
pure, in
only
my
one.
opinion.
Yeah, they was
Yeah.
both on the same thing. You was on your edge of your seat for every round, even though there wasn't a huge amount of action happening. Yeah, I think this fight was in a league of its own.
And yeah, trust me, because it was like there was so many things that was like would be blind to the naked eye, bro. That was going on in that fight. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know, man. It could go either. I think what we established is the judges over them sides have a clear style that they prefer.
Yeah,
shouldn't say. Like a Mayweather wouldn't be as successful if Turkey was still about.
well, the thing is, you say that, but you got to remember, Mayweather was as defensive and as he was, you could see that he wasn't getting hit. It was quite visible a lot of the time.
Yeah. I would. Yeah. Hey, Base, you're the man, you know.
I'm just saying, like, he wasn't getting hit, and he was clearly hitting the other people. So that's the thing. So that's where he would still be winning.
Let's say Mayweather or Maidana. Do you remember the first one? Yeah.
Yeah.
See how Maidana was getting to him. You know what I mean?
In the first, but that was only really in the first sort of 4 or 5 rounds. After that, Mayweather kind of took it over. So it looked, it's one of the, you know what, that's one of them fights where when you look at it just as the actual fight, Mayweather gave him hell and he was just there throughout the entire fight. But when you go like round by round, like he was dominating like rounds 1, 2, 3, 4. Then round 5, 6, 7, 8, all of a sudden it's been taken over. And then in the second fight, Mayweather didn't even let him have rounds 1, 2, 3, 4.
True, yeah. It's like those fights that you see like 5 months later, and you'd be like, "Oh, it wasn't as close as I thought," sort of thing. Isn't it?
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, but I can't give you an answer for Beterbiev and Bivol. You know, I think if you ask me who can make the bigger adjustments, and you know what's crazy as well, out of the two, have we seen either of them have a rematch before?
No.
Yeah. So we don't know. I mean, we know that Beterbiev is a bit older, but Beterbiev lives the life. He hasn't done anything that. I mean, Father Time is undefeated, but he ain't. Yeah, man, I don't know.
He
man.
lives a clean life, but his body is breaking down. Like he pushes his body beyond what normal human limits should really be. That's the one thing you might say.
I've seen how he does the press ups. That's crazy because I tried it a couple of times and I nearly broke my wrist. I nearly broke my wrist trying that one time. But I will say he's been in more wars. And, you know what? Just credit to the fact that they're both legends. I want Bivol to win the next fight. You know what I mean?
So what, they do trilogy after that?
Yeah, just we deserve that as boxing fans, innit? We had to put up with the Steva stuff for about 10 years, innit? When Klitschko had it, when Mayweather had it. We need these fights now, innit? Yeah, so Bivol. I'm saying Bivol.
All right,
I'm thinking
cool.
of my heart on that one.
Fair enough. Well, we'll find that in a couple months. All right, big man. Well, no, blessings, yeah? 100%. Make sure you come back.
Yeah, 100%.
Appreciate you.
Take it easy.
I enjoyed that conversation a lot more than I probably should have, to be honest, because he was trying to get me cancelled at times. All right. I know that I think I missed out on a bunch of chats, so I'm gonna go into the let's see what we got here. I'm gonna read all of these and then we're gonna bounce. Okay, James. Lucky Door Tunde is coming through. He's watching everything. This is a good call there. Shout out to Anthony Hayweather. Careful, Tunde is watching. Is a Coley at the weight he'll fight all the time? A heavyweight is packed on loads, but it's his first fight. No, he said that he will trim up in the next one. He said that I think he came into camp heavy, and then they said, it was a short notice period, so let's just work on getting your fundamentals right and work at being able to go for 12 hard rounds. But he said he's looking to come in around about 240 normally. Big up Hospital Wardley. Riyad Poor, Dan Aziz, Craig, a lot of man on Skid Row and need to bounce back ASAP. Fair. Since you brought up Parker's name, did you see a video of him redoing a scene from Superbad? I've seen the caption. I haven't seen the full scene yet, but I just subscribed to his channel before I started this. Base needs that Henry faith in the code. I think Akoli feels that way because he has been sparring these guys for years, so he feels comfortable. I have a question for you. Did buying that expensive honey get you? Oh, sorry, I'm sorry I didn't see this when he was on the chat. Apologies. Where is Hugh Fury? He's been fighting on GBM shows. So he's had about 3 comeback fights on the GBM circuit up in Sheffield. British Beef was crazy, yeah. I think he's referring to that bouncing style case. Yep, I can't unsee a Cody copying KSI style now. I wouldn't pick Adelaide next if I was team Okoli. Good fight, Cody versus Adelaide. Shout out to Yams. Cody has the experience and the power to beat Adelaide. The disrespect to Cody reminds me of KSI. I suppose it's better than his older style. Yeah. Okay, so that's the older ones. Let's get down to the LL lip lick is crazy. Man's calling out Andre Duro, who's from the times of when Carl Froch was still around. Yep. Yeah, the yard timeline is definitely not what you want to see if it's your nan's heart monitor in the hospital. Dipset all day. Callum Johnson, Joe Smith. Has anyone seen IFL's new video of Tunde and Pat Barrett? I've seen I saw the screen, what they call it, the thumbnail. I haven't logged on it yet, but I will do. N-Dubs. Wyco CBS out here looking like a Cray twin. Mixed with Channel U. I'm dead. Shout out to man like Batista Diablo, Jonah 31. Yeah, that Channel U line spun, man, still can't lie. Man said diluted like Robinson mixed squash. Billum Spliff is already a roadman name, so there's that. True. Madonna has Riyad for hostage. Nah, she terminated his adoption. He's been seen since. Late starter to modeling too. Man, PYG Blacks back in the day. If you know, you know. Nas is worthy of a doc. Yeah. The American heavyweights. Damn, this guy can talk. Does he have his own pod? Nah, but Anthony Hayweather, he's must listen TV, must listen radio. He should be a podcaster still. Jaya's got work to do. Oh, spicy take. Traveling and giving up advantages. Yeah, Usyk, 100%. Smaller guy, always giving up advantages, always fighting people in their back garden, and always managing to come out on the upper side. Damn, Juve too. Yeah, man, Juve fucked up my... I had an accumulator on. I don't know why I put my faith in Man City, but I figured they're not going to let Juventus beat them of all the teams. But yeah, every other team on there won except for Man City. So is what it is. Caballero to mash him up. Oh, okay. Light work for Barazzi. Caballero rounds 8 to 9. Yeah, something like that. That guy 35, 40, 47, 60. We need to see some unifications. I hear that. If Ortiz mashed up Madrimov, could that draw out Crawford? Possibly. But Crawford might be like, well, you only did what I did. Like, I already beat him. I softened him up for you. Oh, that guy thinks Parker instead of Dubois. Okay. Big up, Base. Shout out to the beauty of the pencil. Base, remember Spencer Fearon said there would be an announcement on the 31st of November or 30th, and I've seen no announcement. Yeah, I mean, can't really take them serious at this point. Shiraz gonna nuke body. Tyson Fury wins fact. All right. Someone pressed a button. Shout out. No robbery this time. The rabbit will go. All right. Is Eubank versus Lara made? Nope. I think that's just an angle to try and get the Conor Ben fight. Hayweather using up all base StreamYard monthly minutes in one sitting. Oh yeah, at some point I think I'm actually coming off StreamYard soon. There's another platform I might go to, much cheaper. Solid woman. Maybe it's good that Tunde is watching, because we need to start putting the pressure on those guys to take the fights we want to see him in. Not yet. I've got to get the chamomile till first, bro. Oh, okay, there you go. There's the response. I need to know if the chamomile is the wave. I'll order some. Amazon in the cupboard. Bless up, base and chat. Shout out. Bless up, Unlocking Faith Diary. Appreciate you. Don't know what that's for, but all right. Look, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of that. Thank you very much for tuning in. It's been a really good episode. Shout out to Anthony. Welcome back anytime. But for right now, it's the Hardcore Casual out. Oh, mate. Good stuff.
Maybe I'ma make it, maybe I'm not. In time we'll see. But who better than me? I don't care if you agree. I ain't saying that I'm better than anyone. But who